Abraham found out this truth that we need to find out. He found out that God saw him as righteous. Like, if you could ever get this into your brain, that like it really starts working on you, because like if you can ever understand or even start to contemplate on the fact that God's promise, like God gave this promise to Abraham, and Abraham said, God, I believe that. I believe what you say. Even though it doesn't look like it's true, I'm just going to go ahead and believe you. And that's the foundation of the New Testament and the new covenant of grace that we are under. He says, guys, if you will just like be like your father, Abraham, if you will just believe, then God sees you as righteous. And the reason why it's difficult is because every day we will be faced with things, situations, actions, thoughts, deeds, words. I mean, you name it. Like we are going to be faced with things that are trying to convince us that we are not righteous, and that we are not seen in God's good graces, for lack of a better term. Like there are so many disqualifying things that we come across daily. I'm talking about daily. And it's more prevalent, and it's more prevalent the more focused you are on your actions, because you see how far from the mark you are. Like we are not even close, and it's like, but yet we keep trying to do better, and we keep trying to have more works, better works, like better quality. And it's like, okay, I'm going to read more. I'm going to read my Bible more. Okay, I'm going to pray more. I'm going to talk to other people about Jesus Christ. And I'm going to stop saying this. I'm going to stop watching this. And I'm going to go here. I'm going to do this. And like, it's endless. But then when we're focused on our works, we just see how much further from the mark of perfection. Like we are so far away. But it's like, I know from like my experience, like I don't understand how a lot of people do that. It seems like there's a lot of people on that treadmill, but it's like they are okay just to kind of cruise. It's like they just find their pace, and they're like, we're all not living up to the standard that we should, but I'm trying. But that it didn't sit well with me. It was like I felt like I am really screwing up. I really need to do better. And the more I would try, the further away I would get. And it was like I wasn't okay. I'm not going to be on this treadmill. It's like I cannot do this. Like this is not working. So anyway, kind of getting off track there, but the point that Paul is trying to get across is that Abraham believed what God said, and it went against the things that he faced in his life. It was totally contrary to his everyday life. And so it's just like in the new covenant, where God says, I see you as righteous. I see you as perfect in my sight. Like, it takes faith to believe that. You do not, this is not like intuitive knowledge. It's not something that just comes to you as you sit and meditate. Like, it doesn't happen that way. But this is what faith is all about. It's choosing to take God at his word and say, God, like I find this hard to believe. Like, you can just be honest with him. Like, I really do. I find this hard to believe. I don't want you to see me as righteous. I don't like the fact that you see me as perfect. I don't like that, because I know that I'm not. But it's like, if we would take our focus off of our actions and see ourselves how God sees us, like covered in the blood of his son. Like, that's the only way that he can see us as righteous, and still be a God of justice. Like, it's not that God is like choosing to overlook all of your faults and all of your failures. He does not overlook them. Like, it's like he made a payment for these. Like, he's just saying, like, son, I know that you have racked up all of this debt on the credit card or whatever, but I paid for it. I paid for it. Like, we still, it's like we still know in the back of our minds, like, oh man, I racked up all of this debt. But it's like God's telling us, like, I paid for that, and I need you to believe that I paid for that. And so now, between us, there is no debt. I see it as cleared. And it takes faith to believe that God sees us as perfect, because every day we're going to have thoughts, we're going to have actions that are going to tell us you're not perfect. How can God see you as perfect? But that's the thing that Abraham found in the flesh, is that God chose to see me. God chose to pay for this. He chose to see me as righteous because I believed what he said. And God is the one who makes righteous the ungodly. And Abraham was like, you know what? I know that I'm ungodly. Look around at my life. Things are contrary to what God has said to me, but I choose to believe him. So that's the thing about us under the new covenant. And that's like, this would be the point of the day, is choosing to believe that the way God sees us is actually true, instead of the way we see ourselves. Say, I'm not going to see myself like that anymore. I'm going to choose to see myself the way God says that I truly am. And that is what pleases him, because he paid for that. He went through a great deal of pain and effort just to get you to the place where you can say, you know what, Father, I choose to believe what you say. And that is what makes him happy. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of a podcast here on Romans chapter 4, and next time we're gonna go a little bit deeper into this story, because this is the foundation of the new covenant, and we really don't venture out much apart from Abraham, because remember, he's our father, so we need to understand this story more. So come back. We'll continue in Romans chapter 4.